Dev, I got a little mixed bag for you. I want to start off with our first play, a run play. And it's not always, it's not just downhill runs. Sometimes you got to soften up the defense, but how you do that with motions and window dressing can really affect the defense here. So what Chip Lindsey does, I love it. It starts with Andrew Marsh, a guy who his name is in all the headlines. That's going to draw the attention of the defense. They're going to motion him into the boundary. That is key. That's going to affect the defense. You're also going to pull your left guard around. Linebackers, they react to pulling offensive players. So you got two separate actions. And then you have Jordan Marshall also running run action down to the right. So that's three separate actions that tell the Huskies, I have to go to the right of Michigan's offense. That's where they're showing me window dressing. Meanwhile, you have Donovan McCulley, who, because he's into the boundary, it has a tightened split. He's already in alignment to the quarterback. So let's go to this next picture and watch this play out. There's the motion. I circled number 24. He was going to be one of the contained guys, but his eyes, it's very subtle. He gets sucked up inside because of that motion and because of the pulling guard. Now what you see is Max Bredesen is pulling around the outside alongside Greg Crippen. You have two lead blockers as Bryce is getting ready to flip the ball to Donovan McCulley. So go to this next play, and this is how it all plays out. Because of scheme, you have the ball in the hands of one of your key playmakers with two lead blockers and nothing but green grass out in front of them. This is a staple play of Michigan's offense. They love these wide receiver reverses, but it's how Chip dressed it up with the window dressing that made it work. Let's go to the final play. And here's Donovan McCulley almost 5 to 7 yards downfield before he even gets touched. This is one run play that turns into an explosive run and a first down, Dev.
Yeah, that's a really nice job. But window dressing is always important. You got to make sure that you don't present the same play with the same look. Because for me, I just think defensive players are inherently not very smart. They chose to play defense, right? You chose to be behind. Imagine saying, hey, I want to race you for $150, but I'm going to start way back here. What? Why would I do that, right? Or I'm going to start facing the opposite way, right? That just doesn't make sense. So if you choose to play defense, that's on you. The option to play offense was available. You chose not to, so you use it against them. And when you use the window dressing, right, we've seen this play over and over again, but it's from a different look, and the defense cannot assess what's going on.
And to Dev's point, just put yourself in the Husky linebacker shoes. They see a jet sweep motion with Andrew Marsh. They see a pulling guard. They see Jordan Marshall. Of course, they're going to trigger to that side of the formation. But Chip, meanwhile, has a rabbit in his hat to get the ball to Donovan McCulley out the gate. All right, next play. This is it actually works out well with a ton of the principles you were talking about, just having situational awareness. This is 2nd and 3 for Bryce. You don't need to win the game in this play, and this is just an arrow concept. You have a corner route by the inside tight end. That's going to occupy the deepest defenders. Andrew Marsh is running a little sit route. Really, it's a two-man read for Bryce. If that sit route is open, bang it right now. But if not, go hit your running back in the flat. So watch this play out. And Bryce just does such a great job on the next picture here. Washington is immediately dropping deep right away. So he knows that corner's dead. And Bryce has his eyes now on that linebacker. Well, watch this very next play out, because where Andrew Marsh sits down, that effectively acts as a pick play for the linebacker. And Bryce naturally feels the depth that we've talked about on a number of plays, the depth that is gained by the Husky secondary. Hey, it's 2nd and 3. I'm not going to wait for it. He's anticipating it and feeling it. Bang, a nice, easy check down, and then go to the next play. This is what happens with the check down. Jordan Marshall punishes the defense. Check downs turn into first downs and explosive plays when, as a quarterback, Dev, you're feeling it and you're seeing it.
Yeah, we used to call this Trojan, and it's a high-low pure progression, right? I talked about that, a different version of pure progression, not across the field, but high to low, which means he doesn't even have to go to the other side of the field. It makes it even easier for Bryce, so he goes corner, dead, then he goes to the sit, and then you get it to that back quickly, and like I talked about, you turn into a running back with the football running over defensive backs who are helpless.
Yeah.
I feel bad
It's
for him.
it's but it's beautiful, man. Yeah, and that's just the value of this is for Bryce is you have these battering rams. So especially when the opportunity presents it, get the ball into their hands. It'll be the easiest 10 yards you can put on your stat sheet, just dumping a check down to your running backs. All right, well, let's we were critical of Wink Martindale last week. So let's go to a defensive clip here. And if you guys remember, pull up the clip last week against USC. I brought up a play where Michigan was running a blitz. They were running a line stunt, but I said there was no linebacker to replace that line stunt, and USC gashed the Wolverine defense. Well, this is something very similar. Derek Moore, the tight end was there. You see the tight end motioned up to the top of the formation. So Derek Moore is going to come tight off that tackle's butt. This time, Ernest Hausman is working complementary to Derek Moore's pressure. So go to this next clip. Derek Moore, there he is, really tight off that tackle. Hausman, right away. He knows that this is his run blitz, and he's right in position. I drew that line there because the best thing Hausman does is he remains square to the line of scrimmage. That makes it a really hard read for Damon Williams. They knew this week that Damon is liable to keep it in the read option, but Hausman is square. So he can play the give, he can play the take. Let's go to the next play. It was a take. Damon Williams has it, and Hausman's in perfect position. He slips the tight end and makes the tackle. Now, here's the next level, though, Dev, because here's what I was thinking when I saw this. This was an auto keep for Damon Williams. But let's go to the next picture, because this very well could have been a boot action. Who was going to have DeGraff if he leaks down into the flat? And what I want to challenge is for that cornerback, you have your eyes downhill. As soon as Denzel Boston, the Husky wide receiver, that is a blocking body. That's blocking body language. As soon as his eyes see the wide receiver come down to crack block, you should no longer be dropping in depth. You have to trigger now. Because if the tight end became a flat option for Damon, the corner has to trigger now. So either way Washington spun it, it would be a negative or no gain. This time we got lucky. Hausman was there and made a nice play on Damon Williams. But had he checked it down into the flat, Dev, I think the corner needs to be ready and triggering quicker because of the receiver's body language.
Yeah, I really like what Wink Martindale did there, because we called it exchange for the linebackers, and with Coach Rich, more with Coach Rich Rodriguez, where his offense was so based on read option that we would use the beginning of practice to work on every scenario possible, right? So it's the defensive end crashing hard, right? You pull that, obviously. Yeah. It's the defensive end kind of feathering, right? There are different rules for me and Denard. Denard had a chance to pull it if he just felt like it was good. For me, if he was square, you give the ball, right? If the defensive end turns his shoulders, right? But then there are those scenarios that we call exchange, right? Where it's a great way to defend it in my estimation. If I was a defensive coordinator and I played a quarterback that ran a lot of read option, I would do this quite frequently. Mm-hmm. Right? You take the defensive end and you crash him down right away. What is that signal for the quarterback? It's a pull, right? Well, when he pulls it and you exchange, right? So essentially you exchange responsibilities. That defensive lineman just took the gap that the linebacker would have had. He's already there. And then the linebacker comes around and gets on the outside. Now he is the edge protector, and it confuses the quarterback, right? That's why we worked it so much. And even though we worked it so much, I still got really confused. Denard was just way more talented than everybody else, so he could just run around anyway. But it's a great way to play it, and I love the infusion of this when you're going against a quarterback such as Damon Williams, and it puts everybody in position.
Absolutely. And, Wink was on the same page as you, because I didn't count him and tally him up, but he ran this, and we know Wink likes to bring pressure. I didn't feel he brought reckless pressure in this game. It was timely pressure and structured pressure. He must have ran this like C-gap, linebacker replace, linebacker dog into the read options 5, 7, 10 times. It was a great play call that was working, and he stuck with it. I think I had another play on here. We can go to it. It is just showing Hausman open field tackling on Damon Williams. Not an easy task, but a great way to bring him down. Great job to bring him down in the open space. And then I got one final play here, Dev. It's going to be a shout out to your guy, Blake Frazier, but I'm just going to work you through this. This is what makes Michigan so dangerous. All this, every offense has this in their playbook. It is just inside zone with a crackback block by Hoffman, number 42, who's in there for Max Bredesen. So there's your assignments, the right tackle. And because of this, because of the crackback block, here's an important piece. The offense
You mean a kick? It's a kick out, right?
yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Hoffman, I got him in the red there. He's coming back and he's going to end up blocking the defensive end. So what that tells the offensive line is, oh, we can push. It's a push call. Because you have someone to occupy that defensive end, they can all push +1 to the right. So there's your right tackle getting the end man on the line of scrimmage, 41. Your right guard has that 3-tech over top of him. Crippen then can go climb all the way to number 9 there, that linebacker at the top right of the formation. Al-Hadi has man on that down tackle. The key here, though, is Blake Frazier. Even though you're not blocking that defensive end, you still want to be patient because if you go too soon, he's going to crash down and you screw Hoffman. But if you're patient and hold that space, a hole gets open. Watch it open in the next hole. Next play. So here he is. I want to also highlight, this is what I think you said this last week. First off, look at the pad level, but most importantly in zone.
It's like synchronized dancing.
Synchronized dancing. Every single offensive lineman is stepping in unison, including the running back, Jordan Marshall. Look at that. That is good stuff. Good. Really, really good stuff. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Next picture. Here's the hole being formed. You see Frazier? He's patient, holding that hole open.
He's posting, holding him, just touch him with you, just give him something to look at. Hold him with your arm a little bit. Don't go blowing out of there. And it sets up the block perfectly because now he felt like he was dealing with you, but now the person he's really going to have to deal with is about to knock the crap out of him.
Yep. And a great job by Al-Hadi. Everybody's winning front side. Let me correct. Go back to the very first picture because I'm going to give Frazier a big time plus here. Do you see that number 17 by that back arrow to the left?
Mm-hmm.
Frazier, that's really his guy. Okay. That's really Frazier's guy. He should be climbing to that because he's at linebacker level. Now go back to this very next picture that I was going to show you. This is what I love about Frazier. You're coming into the game. He is on the fly saying, my guy is not dangerous to the play. Actually, what's most dangerous is that safety that's coming downhill because that guy is being held by Bryce with the keep fake. So Frazier had his eyes on that number 17 initially, but even though he's just fresh off the sidelines in for Evan Link, he's already playing high IQ football and saying, that's not the most dangerous. The safety is the most dangerous. Let me climb. Great block by Hoffman. Great block by Al-Hadi. That is the parting of the Red Sea. You could drive a truck through that hole. Just a great job by the offensive line across the board.
Yeah, what makes it more impressive for Frazier, if you go back to that first play with the squiggly is so important. And the squiggly line is very important because if he blows out of there and just does his job, right, he's going to go get number 17. And what is he going to do? Firstly, he's going to create a huge gap. Right, a huge gap, and Hoffman's not quite there yet. So now you're going to be able to really blow Hoffman up and also get to the running. Like it's just going to make it very muddy for the running back's vision. Right, we talk about the quarterback and the back end being muddy. It can be muddy for the running back as well. So him being able to not only post but not just go running, it allows him to assess what's happening in real time. This is why I don't love the analytics all the time, because this is real football. This is his brain. This isn't, oh, it's Madden, he's supposed to go block him, but this guy's here, but I'm supposed to go block him, right? This is, okay, I post, do that part, and then as I start to move, not quickly, slowly, I can see MDM. What does that stand for, people? Most dangerous man. Wide receivers use it, but also offensive linemen have to be aware if 17 refuses to come down into the box, which he can't. Why? Because Bryce Underwood is a threat, right? So he has to stay. He doesn't know, is it going to be an over route coming to me? Is Bryce Underwood going to keep it and run on the outside? I have to be here. Well, if he's not going to help the play, why would I go block him? He blocked himself. He's out. He can't, he's hardly ever, he's not even in the picture, right? He's outside of the film. The All-22 can't even locate him, right? But number 12 can see everything happening, and he's the person that's going to blow up the play. And the fact that you come off the bench cold, we talk about quarterbacks coming off the bench cold, we talk about wide receivers, running backs, a lineman coming off the bench cold and understanding and have the poise to know, I'm not going to blow out of here and go block my man. I'm going to play this play like a football player, not like a person in a computer. And I'm going to make the most dangerous man pay so that we can have an explosive run. Outstanding job by him. Obviously, offensive line together, but 77, he gets most of the credit because that's at the point of attack. And if that doesn't work, this play doesn't work. 12 is going to scream down. He's going to make a play on the running back, and we're never going to get a chance to talk so glowingly about Blake Frazier. Outstanding job by him. I can't say enough. It's tough. It's tough to come in and play quarterback off the bench. It's tough to come in and play other positions, I guess. But coming in to play left tackle, where everything depends on you, it's not easy.